Allah is the one, the one, the one, the one.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. We met again until for, when was the last time we met? 2 months ago, before Ramadan. And then we think we skipped one, right? Because of the COVID. No, we didn't skip. We kept having class even. Alhamdulillah. So today, inshallah, we're gonna talk about another celebrity. Another Jannah celebrity. It is probably the last one out of 5. We're gonna talk about Asiyah binti Muzahim. How do you want to say it? Radiallahu anha or AlSalaam? Some people put AlSalaam, some people put Radiallahu anha. Right. So it's Asiyah binti Muzahim, the wife of Firawn. Now we talk about before this we talk about our mother Asiyah. We talk about Fatima there, and we also talk about Maryam. AlSalaam, and we have so many narrations in Quran as well as in Hadith about those 4 great women. But for this one, the last one, they have not many narrations. There are not so much discussions on, and even in Quran and in Hadith and so on. There are not so many stories that is captured being that, other than she's one of the person who perfected her faith, right? Other than that, and I think her reference, not even the name was actually referenced in Quran. Her reference were made twice in Quran, and by the wife of Firawn. So Allah does not want. Allah did not tell us the name actually in Quran, but it was the scholars, the Sheikh actually translated to from the Hadith. It was by the name of Asiyah binti Muzahim. All right, so let's start. This is from Sahih Bukhari. Kamala means perfect. Kamala min rijal kathir. There's so many men that attain perfections, but none amongst the women, right? Illa Maryam, which is the one that we talk about, and then Asiyah, the wife of Firawn. So the name Asiyah is actually captured in the Hadith. And then there's also, after that, this is very important because this is the key message as well, the wife of Pharaoh, the wife of Firawn. So why is it so then, right? She is one of the greatest women of all time. Right, second after Maryam, according to this hadith. Her name is not mentioned in the Quran, as I mentioned to you, and is actually found in a hadith. So, as I mentioned to you as well, not many stories, are very little. So, I'm gonna be struggling to put my quota for 30 minutes. But Alhamdulillah, today we have 5 people, mashallah. Usually just me and Brother Mufid, and now we have 5 people, and hopefully, how many people are actually online? So I'm gonna probably ask questions as we go along, so to hopefully we can fill up to 1 hour, inshallah. You don't move, but I'm gonna ask you questions as well. All right. Her reference in Quran twice. One when she adopted the baby Musa AlSalaam, so her name was mentioned, and also when she made dua about asking Allah to build her a house in Jannah. Subhanallah. So build me a house near you in Jannah. So this is probably will be the neighbor, I would say, like of course whatever befitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. She asked and then Allah captured that her dua into Quran, and that we will recite until the end of time. Subhanallah. So she is a great woman that we can actually learn from her. And what is exactly that what we can learn from her, her legacy and so on. So we're going to discuss it tonight, inshallah. So we have 4 things we want to talk about today. First of all, is there any story about her before this, as her early life? So there's a couple of things that, and then the stories about how she adopted the baby Musa AlSalaam, and then how then she became Muslim, the message of Islam, and what is the legacy for that. Bismillah. Oh, it works. All right, what's the early life? So it's not much, as I mentioned to you, it's not much the story. Yes? Everything's okay? All right. First of all, definitely it is a custom that the king only married people from the rich family, the noble family. So obviously she is from the rich family. and she was known to be very beautiful, and of course the king normally will only marry someone who's certain class and certain level. So this is important to know as well, because when she embraced Islam, right, she's the one. There is a phrase for that, brother. Remember that, born with a silver spoon? Yeah, she's probably one coming from a noble family, rich family, and married to a king. And you can see that probably she must be selected from not only from the noble, probably because known from the nobility of the family, but also from the beauty as well. So she was known to be known for her beauty. She is also known for being generous. And again, these stories, you don't find it in Quran, the tafsir of the Quran, but Ibn Kathir actually captured it in his book, the stories about Asiyah. And then, as you can say, because during that time, during the tradition, it is quite common to be arranged marriage. So of course the king will only marry to a certain group of people, certain noble family. So it is arranged marriage, and then it is part of the tradition, especially amongst the rich and the nobles. And this is what we have captured. And later on, she accepted the message of Musa AlSalaam, different with her husband, which actually become the enemy of Islam, the enemy of Musa AlSalaam. She actually became the believer. And just to let you know that her tribe is the Copt, which I'm going to talk about later on. So which is the Coptic, which is the Egyptian Coptic. The modern time is the Egyptian. All right, so not much that we can learn, and it's only took me about 2-3 minutes. So let's see. So not much that we can learn from her life. So, and then the story is about the adoptions of the Prophet Musa AlSalaam. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of the background. So everyone knows the stories of Firawn. Almost every Muslim will know Firawn, right? And then Firawn is actually not the name. It is actually like a king, like an emperor. So it's like a title. So he's one of the kings of the Egypt, of the Coptic at that time. And then everyone knows Firawn, and probably we all think anyone can be worse than Firawn, right? So no one can be worse than the Firawn. And I think I made a joke a few sessions ago about, and not only he's the king of Syria, he actually called himself God, and asked people to worship him. So probably even Shaitan probably asking for his autograph, and they say even this is a top notch, the wicked one, right? Now, you know the story about how he had a dream, that within his dream that he saw that someone. Now think about this. This is the Coptic people, and they have the slaves from the Bani Israel. So one day he had a dream that this dream is translated or interpreted as someone from the Coptic family will grow and topple his kingdom, right? So he's so scared that his kingdom will be toppled, will be ruined, and will be destroyed, and because of that he make a preemptive strike. What is his preemptive strike? Is to kill all the Bani Israel, all the babies of Bani Israel, they all killed. So this is the whole the story. So if you talk about the baby killers in the world, he's the worst, right? So he's probably the worst that kills all the Coptic. I've talk about what's it called, this ethnic cleansing, right? So probably he's one of the worst, right? And you know, all the prophets are tested the worst, and they're probably the hardest being tested. And Prophet Musa was tested being with the persons, the likes of Firawn. So after ordering the killing of the babies, and they just start realizing, you know, if we kill all these Coptics, all these Bani Israel, and who's going to be our slaves? So this has to stop, because who's going to do all the labor work? Who's going to do all the farming? Who's going to be doing all the irrigations, the waters, and everything and whatnot? So they start to start thinking, because now only the women's left, right? And all the men are all getting old and so on. So they need something. What is it? Economy, right? So the background is all economy. So the Firawn is on a preemptive strike that he didn't want his kingdom to be toppled and destroyed. He killed all the babies, right? So I think from his perspective, I'm just trying to defend myself. It's a defense mechanism. But then after killing all the babies, he was thinking, we need the slaves, we cannot just do this. So what happens is he decided to make a new order that they only kill the babies in 1 year, and they let go on another year, and they kill another babies in 1 year, and so on. So Harun alayhi salam is another prophet which is born. He's actually a big brother of Moses, or Musa alayhi salam. So he was born when the baby was not killed. So probably he was 1 year or 3 years apart, right? So that's cool. And again, what they did is yes. So what they did is they released all the women, the midwives to be precise, to go to every single one of the slums area, or the what is it? There's a word for that. It's like all the Bani Israel all together. It's like a ghetto, right? So they went to these ghettos and find any Bani Israel women who are pregnant, so they will register them. So if you're asking about who register Muslims, right? It's not only this current phenomenon. It's already happened since a while ago, right? And again, this is all racism at this best, right? And then people just go into every single house and just, okay, you have pregnant lady in here, they start registering it. So when at times the baby is due, they will send troops and they will kill the baby right there and then. They use knives and then kill the baby. Just as simple as that. And then that's why Harun was born, when the baby was safe that year. So, okay, I think it's a bit too fast. Yes. So they registered the pregnant woman from Bani Israel, and if the boy was born, then the guards were sent to kill them with the knife. There were stories of using the knife and so on. And however, when Musa's mother was pregnant, and I think it's quite common for some people, when the pregnancy was not detected because probably a bit too small and so on, right? It is quite common to happen like that. So she managed to hide her pregnancy, right? But of course, when the baby was born and he was a boy, and as a mother, they become very distrustful, right? And become distrustful, and you can hide it now, but for sure, someone will know, someone will find out. There's a baby born on the killing year, so they have to get rid of them. So when they check every single one of them, and then she just gave birth, and then everyone, and then they will send troops, and every single day, or probably certain times of the month or certain times of the week, they will go and check every single house. Right. So this the story continues. Hold on 1 second. It's all right. So when the mother Musa found out that the baby was a boy, and she got extremely scared, and this is where Allah inspired her, right? Isawhayna ila ummika ma yuha. That means when we inspire your mother. So Prophet Musa AlSalaam was told by Allah in Surah Anbiya that we inspire your mother to throw the baby into the water. Now think about it. What is the worst thing that a mother, that can happen to a mother? What is the worst thing? So I remember my aunt. At that time, my cousin. My cousin was probably about 1 year old, and then one day they were on shopping and so on. And when mother just grab the son and just walk and then go to market, and she was doing some shopping, and then just 2 seconds later, where's my son? Where's my son? Where's my son? Where is my son? Right? And then she called my father. My father came in and called all the friends, and the whole troops coming just to search the son. The worst thing that can happen to mother when they have their baby or their child lost, right? And it happened to me as well. I remember my eldest daughter. It was on my wedding, my friend's wedding. I'm so excited. My friend's wedding. It was my best friend's wedding, and then I just took, because my best friend's wedding, I was also part of the people who organized and stuff like that. So I had my daughter's was exactly 1 year old, and we went there. And then one day I need to take something from my car, so I just went out, and my daughter just wait here, opened the car, grabbed something, and out. My daughter was not there, and then I was famous. Like the whole Indonesian's marriage is like 500, 600 people. It's a big one like that. I was like, Fadila, where are you? Where are you? I don't care, right? I don't, just running around like a crazy, like, and it was like, my father and my mother just, calm down, say astaghfirullah. No, I'm not going to. It was just running around, and everyone is like, probably is so chaotic, and the big wedding receptions, everyone is looking at me. I was like, really lost it. I really lost it. And then, which one? They was like, oh, she's actually hiding at the bride's room because they know her, right? So come on. And I was like, oh, there was really one of the, until now, I remember there's 19, what is it? It was the year of 2000, so it was 20 years ago. So I remember now that, now you can imagine the mother of Musa, she just delivered the baby, right? And then you can see the mother is seeing out loud and everything, and then suddenly the troops come in and try knocking on her door. What happened? And Allah inspired her, put the baby into the basket and throw it to the river, right? And then what kind of human being, right, this her own baby, put in a basket? Is the basket waterproof? It's not tested, definitely, right? Is the basket actually baby proof? We put it into the water? It says no, right? And again, this is where we say tawakkal ala Allah, right? So it is inspired to the mother of Moses, and then she was just follow, right? And then she just asked her daughter, which is the sister of Musa, to follow. Just follow her. Just follow your baby brother, right? And then they put into a chest, which is a sort of a chest, and put into river. Yeah, anekzifihi fi tabut, so it's a tabut, and then fakzihi fil yam, right? That cast him into the chest and cast it into the river. And it is a strong iman, and we don't know what's going to happen, but only a belief to Allah that Allah has the wisdom, right? I remember when Khidir said to Musa AlSalaam, you know, there was a bird that took the water from the sea. You know, the water that go into the beak of the bird, right? That is your knowledge and your wisdom and me combined together, while the rest of the sea is the wisdom of Allah. So we don't know. We just a slave. We don't know. So we just only need to follow Allah and to put the trust to Allah. So when the mother of Musa put the baby in there, and Allah promised, we will return the baby to you, she would have no idea what's going to happen. She just trusts Allah and put the baby into unproven, untested a chest with the baby in there. When they put it into the river, right, whether the chest is going to be toppled, whether the chest is going to be, we don't know, right, because it's not proven.
It's like Ibrahim and Hajar AlSalaam, right?
Yes, exactly the same thing. Yeah, that sort of mentality, if I can say the word mentality, when she called Ibrahim, why you leave us like here? Is Allah told you, and then that's it. Khalas. Allah tells you, then Allah will look after. So this is kind of mentality, that iman, that faith, that mother of the Ummi Musa that has that. So remember that again. Remember these chest, this, what is it? The box, right? I don't know whether you watch Panda 2. Kung Fu Panda 2, yeah. The same story, right? They use this. Yeah, it's also using that, yeah. So this is what happened to the baby, is actually went into the river and carried into the palace. And who is the palace? Which is the palace of Firawn. And Asiyah was the wife of Firawn. And I'll just probably give you the background first. Asiyah was a Coptic, right? And the baby Musa was Bani Israel. So they have different complexion, they have different race, put it this way. They know it's a different race. They know right away when they open this, like this is Chinese, this is Indian. You know this, right, from the ethnicity. So they know right away. Asiyah know that this baby was not a Coptic baby. And again, subhanallah, it is Allah's plan. You know why why Firawn want to kill all the Bani Israel? Because he didn't want the baby of Bani Israel one day will topple him, will destroy the kingdom. And you know what's Allah's plan? Is to put the baby that will going to destroy the kingdom is actually into the palace. So when Allah works wonder. right? It's just our mind and our mind. So we have to believe in Allah. So what happened? The chest was carried to the Firawn place, and the servant woman picked up the chest and handed it to Asiyah. And the minute Asiyah saw the baby, Allah put the love, the motherly love into this woman, to this lady. And then the minute it says, oh, what a cute baby, and so on and so forth, it's a cute baby. And it happened that Asiyah did not have any children. So the motherly instinct, all right? So the whole kingdom was ruined, was destroyed because of the motherly instinct, right? Because it's motherly instincts. I want this baby, I want to keep it. But look at that. See, the baby is not Coptic. The baby is Bani Israel. This year is the killing year, right? We should kill, right? Everyone, of course, everyone in the palace knows this is the killing year. We need to kill all the babies, right? It's like the what?
The purge.
What is, okay, I'll talk to her. Right. So it is Allah plan to put Musa into the palace of Firawn, and then this is the same race that Firawn subjugated, whose race, and killed him. And Asiyah, when she looked at the baby, she fell in love. Let's adopt this baby, right? Okay, that's probably going to be very hard to do because your husband's going to kill this anyway. But then what happened is she asked Firawn, right? Firawn, look at this baby is probably cute and so on, like I don't have a child, and that's kind of thing. So okay, we let that go, right? So again, this is very interesting story because at the end Musa is killing all the babies, and the baby that they're going to kill is actually inside the palace, right? It is irony of the irony. So Asiyah had no children and everything, and then after they have this baby, right, they cannot feed them. They cannot feed baby Musa AlSalaam. So what happened was the sister of Musa was waiting outside. Oh, I can find you wet nurse, and I know someone who can probably nurse your baby. And they found who did they find? Who did they find? Is actually the mother of Musa. So they met with the mother of Musa, called them, and put the mother of Musa into the palace, and then finally reunited this baby and the mother, right? And then just probably within a day, right? Just within a day, she was inspired to throw the baby into the river, into untested box, right? But because they believe in Allah, tawakkal Allah, is very strong, that Allah reunited her again with Musa AlSalaam. So they hired the baby. Of course, they didn't know that the baby, the mother of Musa, was actually the wet nurse. All right. What is this? Yes, this is the story. Is captures in Quran. Waqalatil mura'atu Firawn, and then the wife of Firawn says, "Qurrati a'yun." Hopefully, this baby become the comfort of the eye, right? And for you and for me, for li walak, for me and for you as well. Laqatuluhu, do not kill him, right? Do not kill him. Probably he can be our slave later on or something. Or, probably even better, we can make it as our son, right? So it's adopted son. And this is what I think it shows as well that the Firawn has loved his wives and so on. That's why he adopted as well. So this is the story of the adoptions of Musa AlSalaam, right? No, yes, Musa AlSalaam. Okay, the next one is the message of Islam. So everyone knows. By the way, why Bani Israel in Egypt? Anyone knows? Bani Israel is in Egypt, and they're being enslaved by the Coptic, the people of Egypt. Anyone knows? Anyone remember why Bani Israel in Egypt? It's a quiz. Why? Why is that? Back, yes, back as many generations before, Prophet Yusuf AlSalaam brought his family, and because he was the Aziz, he was one of the treasure, the Ministry of Treasure, or whatever, Ministry of Food or something, right? And then the governor, and then that's why he brought that. And over the year, this race become the working race, and then finally become the slave right? So this is why they were there. All right, the prophecy of Musa AlSalaam. You know the stories about Prophet Musa AlSalaam kill a Coptic person, and because of them he became fugitive, and he ran to a place called Madian. And there was a story that when he went to Madian, he's actually married to he actually married to the daughter of Prophet Suhaib, but also some other people is actually not Prophet Suhaib. But anyway, he went to Madian, he got married and got a big family, and then he came back to Egypt, and this is where he became the Prophet. No, what is this? You know the stories when we went back. Wahal ataka hadithu Musa. Don't you remember the story of Musa when they were working with the family? They saw the fire, and Prophet Musa came to the fire, and Allah talked to him, right? Innani anallahu la ilaha illa ana fa'budani wa aqimis salati dhikri. This is when Allah introduced himself. This is me, Allah, right? Take off your slippers, right? So the first thing we have to do when we worship Allah is to clean the purity. Just take off your slipper, take off your sandals, and worship me, remember me, worship me and remember me, right? So this is the first instructions of Allah to Prophet Musa, is to make salah and so on. So this is on the way to Egypt, and then Allah instructed him, because he became a prophet at the time, and Allah instructed him to go to Firawn, and then Musa became the prophet. Oh, sorry, I have that in here. Yeah, then the incident of the hairdressers. I don't know whether you remember this stories as well. So this is the hairdressers of the daughter of Firawn. She was a lady. She is actually a Bani Israel lady. And one day she was combing the daughter, and then she dropped the comb, and she said, of course, there's many narrations. There's other narrations says Bismillah. There's also narrations when they say Ta'isa Firawn, may Firawn perish. And then the daughter said, what did you say? You say about my father, right? And then she reported to her father, and her father is, who do you say you God? You say, my God is the Rabbi Musa wa Firawn, the Lord of Musa and the Lord of Firawn. No, your Rob is me, and no, my Rob is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then she was punished because of that. You know the stories. And then where this is one of the 3 stories of talking babies, right? She was holding her baby, and then every single family members are thrown into the fire, and then she was finally at the last minute, the baby actually talked, "Mommy, don't worry, let's go." So they all jump into and then before they got put into the fire, she requested that put all the bones. So they collect all the bones, and then Firawn said, okay, we collect all the bones, and they bury that into the same place. And our Rasul ﷺ noticed this nice fragrance when he was on the Isra Miraj, and he was asking, what is this smell, ya Jibril? This smell is the smell of the cloth or the grave of the hairdressers of Firawn. And because of these stories, and then the stories continue about that. And then what happened was Asiyah actually witnessed all this. She saw all this, the Coptic lady with the strong convictions of faith, and she is actually willing to be tortured with death and then burned with the whole family. You can imagine the mother see all the family and the babies being burned just in front of her. We were tested much less than this, right? These people before us is actually tested with their family members being tortured and killed right in front of their eyes. And Asiyah was actually touched by that. She witnessed this bravery, and then she declared her faith after watching this bravery from the Coptic lady. And she became Muslim. She stood up to say the Firawn and declare her faith, and she, you know that she knows her husband will kill, right? So when I just killed this person, this lady who just saw that I'm not the God, and you're gonna do the same thing, right? And think about this. This lady, Asiyah, she was born with a silver spoon, right? She was a queen for so many years. And then she's realizing what her husband actually capable of. And then you can imagine that she will be tortured after that. So she was tortured, and she was tied. Right? She was tied her feet and hands under the sun, and they throw the big boulder, the big millstones on her. And just the last minute before that boulder crashed to her, she made a dua that Allah captures the dua, Ya Allah, make me a house near you. And then just before the millstone came on, crossing into her, the angel of death, the Malakul Maut, came and take the soul. So that is the Rabbibni lil indaka baitan fil jannah. Ya Allah, build me near you the house near the paradise, which Allah captured that. So that is the story of Asiyah. She died. She left all the pleasures of dunya because of she saw the faith, how the faith people, when they're touched by the faith, and she wants to embrace this, and then she know the consequences, and she still go ahead with that. She still continue with that because when someone's already to her with her conviction, she went to anything, right? And there was a narration where actually Allah has already shown her place in Jannah. That's why she didn't feel anything. The same things when Bilal radiallahu anhu was asked, what is, throughout your career as a Muslim, what is the best thing that happened to you? The best thing when my honor put the boulder on me, say our Lord, not your Lord, say Ahadun Ahad. And they even become hated, they become showing more tortures and everything. Is actually, I feel so happy. So when you have that conviction, when you have this, Allah helps. So you don't feel anything, you don't feel the pain. So that's what Bilal said. It's supposed to be the hardest day for him, but no, he said, this is the happiest day, because when I say Ahadun Ahad, I have that joy. When I said that, I have that conviction, I have that faith in me, is actually giving me pleasure. So that's what shown to her as well. She saw her house in paradise, and then she made that dua, the famous dua that Allah captures, then will be recited for the whole mankind until the end of time, which is Rabbi Nili Indaka, next to you, Baitan, one house, fil Jannah, right? And then save me, wanajini min Firawn, from the Firawn, and then from all his deed, and from all the people, the wrongdoer, of all the zalim. So ask Allah, what did she ask? She asked Allah two things: a house, right, for all the suffering that I'm going to because my faith, Ya Allah, give me a house in Jannah near you, right? So inshallah one day we all can meet and we can probably visit. I want to see that house, right? It's a special house that Allah built, right? And then save me from three things: save me from Firawn, from wa amalihi, from also his deed, and also for the wrongdoing people, the zalim. So that's the story of the last wish of Asiyah, which Allah captures in Surah Tahrim, Surah number 66, and that is her conviction and her faith. Wow, half an hour, not bad. So what is the legacy? The legacy is that this is the example, amazing example of faith. So we live in Hong Kong, is a non-Muslim country. Sometimes some of us have issues of finding food. This is probably just our trials, our tests, and just finding food, finding places to salah. And now during the summertime, wherever you look, it's very hard now. You look down, also very hard. You look up, it's also very hard, right? It is our test. But compared to the test that people gave the people before us, for us it's just our test is just nothing. Then who she dealt with? She's not only dealing the king of shirk, she's also announced himself as God. So this is a really amazing example of faith. She was surrounded with wealth and power, right? She's married to the worst human being ever, right? But yet she managed to maintain her faith and pass all the exam with the flying color. So and this is again when Allah gives this as an example, as a legacy for us to follow. The test that Allah put to us is nothing compared to the test of Asiyah. And all the faculties on all the facilities and everything, we got all the facilities. Alhamdulillah, we got this room, we got this idea. So again, and this is something that Allah will test none of you when you say you believe in Allah unless we test. So this is the test from Allah. Then that means Allah will always continue testing us. May Allah make us stronger. So, and Allah made this as made her as an example for the believers. So again, hopefully, may Allah help us improve our faith. May Allah make us steadfast in His deen. So allow us to, inshallah, meet her in Jannah and then visit her house in Jannah. And so may Allah make us and our children to be proud of being Muslim and thankful for His blessing to become Muslim. And may Allah unite us all in Jannah, inshallah. So that is her legacy, and which, not bad, 40 minutes. Yep, that is the legacy of the stories. Not much, but I did my best to try to stretch it a little bit by putting the stories of Musa, because you cannot tell the story of her without having the story of Musa AlSalaam as well, which we already covered some time ago. All right, brother.
Who's going to be the husband of Asiyah AlSalaam in Jannah?
I had that question. All right.
Is it going to be Firawn?
So the question is, who will be the husband of Asiyah? All right. So the question is, first of all, I have not found, like I said, there's not enough narrations about her, right? And again, whoever her husband will be, right, knowing that I don't think it's going to improve our iman as well. No, I have not found any stories about who's going to be, whether, of course, Allah will fulfill her need, right? Allah will provide whatever, and definitely Allah will not capture her dua unless Allah will build her a house in Jannah. Right? So, I don't know. And I don't think, yes, brother.
I was just thinking if...
Are you disappointed, brother? Do you have the answer?
I think so, you keep checking.
Okay, all right. Yes.
Thinking like, I hope this does not happen, but if one day if like we get captured and put in some place or prison, what is the best example if someone points a gun at us and tells us to do something, or should we revolt, or should we just be patient, getting abused?
Okay.
Or like what is the best?
There are two stories. If you look at the story of the Sahaba, there's Sumayyah, right, the mother of Ammar bin Yasir. When she was tortured and she was asked to go back to the religion of the paganism, and she refused it, and she was the first Sahid, and she was actually killed with the big spears onto her lower part of the body, and then she was killed, and then because she wants to maintain her faith. But when the same torture happened to her son, which is Ammar bin Yasir radiallahu anhuma, and he actually says, okay, say the name of Latta Uzza, and he actually said it. He said it because he cannot bear the torture. And he was crying. After he was released, he was crying, and he went back to Rasulullah SAW. Ya Rasulullah, I said the word of kufr, I said the word. And Rasulullah SAW was, I think there's a Quran revealed to him, and it says, if you say it because out of to protect your life and so on, this is nothing. So you're actually forgiven. So you can do, if you're really brave enough and you feel enjoyment doing that, you can continue that. But at the same time, there's a story of Ammar bin Yasir where he actually gave in, and he didn't want to say because, and that's also forgiven by Allah, inshallah.
I can't find that, but I'll find that inshallah. I wanted to touch upon that thing, and you can inshallah share as well, that the way Asiyah AlSalaam was inspired was by someone which Allah, for His wisdom, did not even mention the name.
Yes, the hairdresser.
This is a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So, I just thought this could be a lesson for us. We may think we are no one, but we could be a reason for someone as high as her to be guided.
Yes.
So her, whatever good she's done, that hairdresser will of course get the reward for that.
Subhanallah, very good. Yeah, it is. You don't have to be a sheikh or Maulana or anything like that. It's just the same thing with the seven sleepers, Surah Al-Kahf. the 7 people who got in the car. They're just names, right? And they're not like big names or Sahaba or anything. It's just people want to save their deen, and they go that Allah actually put the stories in Quran and then for everyone to know. The thing is, you don't have to be. There's also the stories about a lot of like the companions of Rasulullah AlSalaam, right? We also know Abu Bakr, and they're all the big champions and everything, but there's also the lesser known one. And there was one time Rasulullah AlSalaam was in this masjid and said, you watch, there's a guy of Jannah, there's a person of Jannah is going to walk in. And until now, no one knows the name. Right? So it is deliberately, Allah did not mention the name, or Rasulullah AlSalaam did not mention the name, but they have a high status. And even the Sahaba, I think it was Ja'far, I think it was another Sahaba. I was wondering why Rasulullah said he's a person of Jannah, right? And he came to his house. Even until now, the stories are kept in Hadith, no one knew his name. So many people, they're not known by the name, they're just regular like me, right? Like any commoners, right? But in the eyes of Allah, when you follow Him, when you get close to Him, we become, inshallah, become celebrity, just like the hairdresser, right? So he's a celebrity of Jannah. We don't know her name. So probably when we visited the Asiyah house, so probably we can see her there as well, and we can ask her name. Yeah. So that's probably one of the reasons, so we can know her name. Yeah. I remember when we talked about MCSK. Yeah. We're guessing your name. Yes, mother. I'm sorry.
So can we adopt, like, how do you say, a non-Muslim children?
Can we what?
Can we adopt?
Can we adopt non-Muslim children? Adoption.
Yeah.
Adoptions. I don't have any particular knowledge on that. When the thing is, the child, they are in fitrah, right? So if especially 2-year-olds and they don't have religion yet, right?
But they're Muslim.
So they're already Muslim, they're already in fitrah. So when you adopt them, right, and then of course, hopefully their upbringing and everything, they'll become Muslim, inshallah. So as we guide them, as we become a practicing good Muslim, inshallah, that will be. But of course, there are certain things, like for example, if you adopt a boy or something that will not become mahram to your wife, there's certain things that we need to watch out. There's probably just around that area. But other than that, I think adopting children is just something almost the sunnah of Rasulullah SAW, right? Like when he was given Zaid bin Haritha, for example, he met that as his own son, he even called him Zaid bin Muhammad. So this is the kind of Rasulullah SAW did. Not only are we expecting someone? Yes. Huh? Yeah, so I think when it says where can we adopt non-Muslim babies, if this is the age of non-puberty yet, and then become adopted to your family member and so on, of course, inshallah, that person will become, definitely there will be a better chance to make him become believers and Muslims, inshallah. Yes.
Well, another question which came to my mind.
Yeah.
Just an example on this, that you know how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes gives you this huge test, and I think one of the biggest tests is family. And you could have family members like Firawn. Obviously, no one can have a family member like Firawn, may Allah protect us. But I'm just giving that example, that someone is worse than that Allah gave Firawn a wife like Asiyah.
Yes.
Right, so
Allah gave, I think in the same surah, the Surah Tarim, just one ayah before that, Allah gave another example, the wife of Prophet Noah AlSalaam, which is the complete opposite, right? So Allah tests only the people at that level, people test, right? That Allah tests with like having a companionship, companion which is away from you. The same with Prophet Lut AlSalaam.
yes.
Also tested with the rebellious wife, Prophet Noah as well. She didn't make it, right? She didn't make it to the cut. Is that what it was?
Didn't make the cut.
She didn't make the cut,
Yeah.
right? She didn't make that. She preferred to be in her disbelief and so on, even though her husband. What is the best husband? Prophet should be the best husband. They are our role models, right? if they're not the best husband, then no one can be a best husband. So Noah, definitely, Prophet Noah AlSalaam can be probably one of the best husbands, as well as the Prophet Lut. But look at the wife, right? So Allah tests them with having the wife. And then the other side of this is which is Asiyah. Allah tests with the most wicked man on earth. And yet she passed the exam with the flying color. Not only that she being tested by that she's also has to give up all the being a queen and all the rich and everything, right? So materialism. See, when the faith, when the Islam touch your hearts, right, everything else, all this dunya become non-relevant anymore. So may Allah make us to see that whenever we're getting closer to Allah, that all this dunya is nothing for us. So, and again, this is which is the real truth, or which is the inner truth, inshallah, that we can feel.
I want to extend on this because we still have time. I'm just saying to relate to us that sometimes we might have family members that are away from the deen.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
how?
Nasiya.
Yeah.
Connect to this.
Yeah. Well, there's an Asiyah bil hikmah, right? And the thing is, giving an advice to family member is probably one of the most difficult thing to do. Yeah. So that's why our Prophet is the best, right? And he says, be the best person, and the best person is the best to their wives, right? And again, and like sometimes people ask me how to give nasihat to my father, how do I give nasihat to my husband, how do I this? No, with family members, what they call you have to dance with a different song. Do you have to dance? I don't know. Sure. Take it out. Cut. So what I mean is the nasihat bil hikmah. So when you know, especially when I did a class about how to become a good wife, right? So one of the questions I always get asked, how to give advice to a husband. Do not give advice to your husband. The same thing is like, how do I give advice to your father? Do not give advice to your father, right? Because especially our parents, they see us, they're the one who put diapers on us, and just nasihat bil hikmah. What does it mean? Nasihat, be a best wife, be a best children, right? So this is the best nasihat. Nasihat is not by oral, but nasihat by your action. So this is what I mean. Or da'wah bil hikmah. You don't have da'wah bil lisan. No, you just need da'wah bil hikmah. Will your character. Your character is a big nasihat. So people always think nasihat is how can I talk. No, nasihat is not only talk. You make dua, right? And then you just show a good, perfect example. Inshallah, they will drawn to you. They will ask advice. I have stories as well, like my cousins and stuff. Once you being nice to them, when I go back to Indonesia, being nice to them, the whole family, I hate them or something, I just being nice, and they come to me, ask nasihat. That is a good opportunity. When someone asks, can you give me advice? Oh, you want advice? Then it's a good time to do that, because then they gain the trust. Nasihat is only, you do it only to win the heart, right? It's not to win the argument. The problem is when you go into giving advice with oral, which is da'wah bil lisan, you tend to go into arguments. And a da'wah is not about winning arguments. Da'wah is about winning hearts. Once you know the psychology, so when someone said, that's why I asked, how do I give advice to? No, don't give advice to your parents. No, da'wah bil hikmah. I think that is probably the key word, inshallah. Yes.
Yeah, so the people of like the Banu Israel,
yes,
they were persecuted for so many years, right? And by Firawn.
Yeah.
And here we see nowadays, like in Syria, Myanmar, those places. So do people be patient, like the Banu Israel?
Yep.
Or should they revolt?
It's a very tough question. The question is, the people in Syria and they go to persecutions, and should they be patient? Should they revolt? Right? And again, it is a very tough question. Sometimes the message or the news that we heard were probably not necessarily the complete message and so on. I do believe that the scholars or the people who live around that, we know the situation, if they say they have to revolt or stuff like that, it's probably they know the situation, that then they know best, and whatever fatwa this will be coming from them, because they're on the ground, they see this day to day, even they actually experience themselves. So let them, and again we have international community. Again, this is drawn into politics area and so on. There's something which is outside of my payslip. Expertise. Above my payslip. Yeah. And so yeah, I don't have much to comment on that. So. Yes. Last one, inshallah.
What do you think? And I personally used to think, that was obviously we're finishing with the series now.
Yeah.
Like Asiyah, we don't know that. Like you've seen as well, you don't know that much. Khadija, we know.
Yeah.
Fatima, we know.
Yeah.
Maryam alayhi salam, we know.
Yeah.
Right. But her, we don't know that much. So, what do you think, just from your own opinion, that made Rasulullah ﷺ mention her with these giants that we know so much about? Do you understand what I mean?
I think you already quoted this before, right? So when people embrace Islam, when people get closer to Allah, so being a celebrity, being popular is not something that. There's so many stories, but even Khidir, even the word Khidir is actually not a name. It's actually a title as well. There's so many stories in Quran. The name is not really that important, right? Even if you recite Surah Al-Kahf every week, right? And people argue about how many people. Are there 3 people? Are there 5 people? 7 people? Allah is the number is not important. So humans tend to find out who's the person, where they live, right? What shoes they wear, right? Because this is dunya, right? We want to put a dunya wrapper around someone, right? The name, the ethnicity, the culture, where they're from. When Allah tells a story, it's a story for us to get closer to Him. Sometimes things that is this dunya wrapper is not important. This is how I understand it, right? Like so many things. Like for example, Rasulullah SAW one day was asking, where is the lady who used to clean the mosque? And then she passed away a few days ago. You didn't tell me, right? So even though for majority people she's not important, for Rasulullah SAW, she was important. She was asking about her, right? So she paid attention. Right? There's so many stories that we don't know the name. Like how many people who did the Hajjatul Wada, 120,000, 100,000. Not many stories, many of them, but Rasulullah, this person of Jannah, this person, there's so many of them. And again, the idea is really, the essence of the story is for us to get closer to Allah, as a guidance. The Quran is a book of guidance, a book of sign, right? Whether the name, the associations of anything, the name, the places, sometimes not important, that's not important for us. I think that's how I capture it. It's just the essence of this as being true to your faith and a conviction, and to make it close to Allah. Oh, sorry.
Let's start again. Deja vu.
Nah, deja vu.
Encore.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, that was a tough question, huh? All right. So, jazakumullah khair. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The one, the one, the one.